Have you ever tracked an athlete's ascent from their earliest days? That's just how I felt about Caitlin. Since she was in the eighth grade, I have watched her rule the courts. Seeing her play was more than simply a part of my work when I was a college coach. It was an exciting experience. Now that I have the opportunity to work with her and this dynamic young team, the enthusiasm has come full circle. Imagine that the person who initially recognized Caitlin Clark's talent in middle school, Stephanie White, is now the head coach of the Indiana Fever. This narrative turn seems like something from a sports film, don't you think? However, the story gets more complex. After years of praising Caitlin's abilities, Stephanie White is now in a prime position to both observe and direct the Caitlin Clark spectacle. This collaboration is more than just a fresh coach player connection, it's a divine pairing that will enthrall the WNBA like never before. What do Stephanie's raw feelings about her incredible star player look like? Her ongoing praise for Caitlin will undoubtedly make you reevaluate and broaden your understanding of their illustrious collaboration. In today's film, we explore the complex web of Stephanie's mentoring of Caitlin, revealing how their relationship has grown stronger over time and projecting how it will help the Indiana Fever win more titles in the future. Before we go any further, remember to hit subscribe. It's only a click away and will open your door to exclusive insights. Are you prepared to travel? Let's set off. Considering how many games Caitlin participated in during her time in college, it's evident that Stephanie possesses more than just a talent since her basketball IQ is quite high. In addition to showcasing her analytical abilities, her talent as a collegiate and NBA commentator has highlighted her role as a trailblazer in the sport. It has always been insightful to talk to her at college shoot-arounds. Her encouragement has been a pillar of my athletic career. Hold on to your seats now. For the Indiana Fever, the stars have really aligned, signaling the beginning of an exciting future. Stephanie White is essentially Indiana basketball royalty when she takes on the role of coach. She represents the essence of basketball, having grown up in West Lebanon, Indiana, where the sport was her life. The issue still stands, though. Why would she leave Connecticut, where success was so close? Come along as we examine the facets of this crucial choice. In addition to being a homecoming, Stephanie White's return to Indiana signifies a reunion with her heritage. White was only warming up. She was well known for her amazing skill on the court at Seeger High, where she won awards including Indiana Miss Basketball, Gatorade National Player of the Year, and USA Today National Player of the Year in 1995. Her career continued at Purdue, where she solidified her reputation as a basketball legend by leading the team to its first and only college basketball title in 1999. Her relationship with Indiana, however, was far from over. White spent 5 significant seasons influencing the early years of the franchise after being selected by the Fever in the 2000 expansion. Her stint in the WNBA further strengthened her bonds with Indiana, particularly as she was traded back to the Fever just before their debut season, solidifying her reputation as a local basketball hero. But White's coaching days were when her career's magic really shone. Alongside Lynn Dunn and Tamika Catchings, she had a key role in the Fever's championship runs from 2011 to 2014 as an assistant coach. She was promoted to head coach because of her unquestionable leadership, and she led the team to the WNBA Finals right away. White returned to the WNBA after a period of enhancing the collegiate basketball landscape as a coach and pundit. With a record of 55-25 over 2 seasons, White rebuilt the Connecticut Sun into a strong competitor, gaining back-to-back postseason berths and winning the 2023 WNBA Coach of the Year award. The Sun made it to the semifinals twice while she was in charge, which is evidence of her great strategic understanding. It's home first and foremost. White has expressed her strong connection to Indiana by saying, "This franchise is in my DNA." Her journey, which is full of triumphs, homecomings, and chance reunions, reads like a screenplay written by the basketball gods themselves. The cycle is now complete as White takes over as coach of Caitlin Clark, the former 8th grade sensation she first noticed years ago, and who is currently a shining example of women's basketball potential. Caitlin isn't just great for women's basketball, she is great for the entire game, White has said, recognizing Clark's game-changing impact on the sidelines. In addition to breaking records and leading the country in assists, Clark has demonstrated abilities never seen in NCAA basketball. White is in charge of an incredible talent pool that is ready to lead the Indiana Fever to new heights, with players like Clark and Aaliyah Boston, as well as seasoned veterans like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall. Her story, a tale of basketball, belonging, and the unrelenting quest for greatness, continues to develop, entwined with the fate of her players and the goals of the Fever. For this new chapter in Fever basketball, why is Stephanie White such a perfect fit? The explanation is straightforward. She has a remarkable past that includes becoming a high school sensation, winning a college championship, playing in the WNBA, and eventually becoming an experienced coach. She is back and prepared to lead the Indiana Fever to another WNBA championship because she knows the ins and outs of Indiana basketball. Caitlin Clark was one of the first to welcome White's appointment on social media, sending Fever fans into a frenzy. Her news of her return to coach was met with immense joy. White and Clark's synergy indicates that they are ready to have a big influence on the league. That's not all, though. Let's not forget Caitlin Clark when we return to the action, since she is at an intriguing intersection of pop culture, social media, and fan interaction. She is establishing new standards for athlete connection, and her impact extends beyond the basketball court. However, despite the pre-draft expectations that suggested instant dominance, her WNBA career began with turmoil. She was given a harsh reality check, which made others doubt her skills. Stephanie White remained steadfast in her support of Clark in the face of a barrage of criticism, with commentators analyzing every action she took. White vigorously defended Clark's potential, pointing out her constant development and in-depth knowledge of the game. White reassured the doubters she's going to be fine and urged them to have patience and faith in Clark's growth. White's belief in Clark went beyond simple words of encouragement. It demonstrated her capacity to look past short-term setbacks and identify a genuine competitor in Clark, a player who is not defined by early setbacks, but is motivated to succeed despite them. White's unwavering admiration for Clark's basketball acumen and work ethic is a testament to her faith in the young star's potential and her belief that her early setbacks were only a passing phase in what looks to be a legendary career. This relationship between a seasoned coach and a young player embodies the spirit of sports mentoring, where talent and experience come together to push the limits of what is thought to be achievable in women's basketball. Remember to interact with this developing narrative as we follow their trip further. Like, subscribe, and enable notifications for updates as we watch the Indiana Fever enter this revolutionary era. What sparked Stephanie White's passionate support for Caitlin Clark? Was it Clark's fortitude, her steadfast dedication during practice, or maybe the indisputable gleam of resolve in her eyes despite hardship? Whatever it was, White's early backing of Clark was more than just encouraging, it was a strong affirmation. I believe in this kid, and you should too. As the season went on, this commitment not only stood out as a daring statement of faith, but it also started to show results. After finding her groove, Clark went from just making it through the WNBA to thriving, breaking records, and being selected for the All-WNBA first team. I hope to become one of the world's top players someday. After concluding an incredible year, Caitlin Clark declared, I wouldn't expect anything less than that. As a generational talent who not only met but beyond the lofty expectations placed on her, she had transcended the conventional rookie narrative by the end of the season. What about Stephanie White? Her early faith in Clark's ability seemed to be nothing less than prophetic. It is one thing to defend Clark against detractors. It is quite another to actively shape her career, and White is devoted to this job. Imagine what may happen if White were to coach Clark personally. If her coaching was this effective on the sidelines, the two of them are set to revolutionize the league. Will you be able to watch what Stephanie White creates for the upcoming season? This coach-player relationship is more than just a partnership. It's a deep synergy and a basketball mind meld that has the potential to completely transform the WNBA. White brings a comprehensive and rich approach to her coaching, having spent more than 25 years in the game as a player, coach, and media pundit. She is an experienced strategist with unmatched player development knowledge. By creating plays that play to her talents and push her to improve every part of her performance, she is revolutionizing Clark's game. White recounted a moment with Clark the evening before he was named the Fever's new coach, one that perfectly captured the seriousness of their impending journey. This is the moment we've been waiting for. accept where we are, and consider the momentum that lies ahead. It's our moment to shine. However, Stephanie White's goals go beyond only improving Clark's abilities. She is concentrating hard on improving Clark's leadership, shot selection, and defense qualities that distinguish great athletes. Their collaboration has enormous potential. It could not only shatter records, but also completely redefine them, creating a legacy evocative of the most famous athlete-coach relationships in sports history. However, White's tenure as head coach of the Indiana Fever isn't solely about Caitlin Clark. White has the ability to inspire the team as a whole, making the Fever one of the league's most exciting and popular teams. White, who was born and raised in Indiana, has a strong sense of pride in both her home state and the Fever organization, acknowledging both its previous setbacks and its future possibilities. Her excitement for the Fever's future is evident as she guides the squad into a new age, indicating an exciting chapter for both the team and its supporters. The Indiana Fever are at the center of this movement, poised to enthrall the basketball world. And it's not just a moment. In Indiana, Stephanie White is leading a revolution rather than merely a basketball comeback. Everyone is wondering if she would be able to turn this young team into real title challengers. There's no denying the talent Aaliyah following her 2023 Rookie of the Year victory. Boston is a formidable force in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell is having her greatest season to date, and she and Caitlin Clark make for an exciting backcourt. With players like Grace Berger, Tammy Fagbennel, and Lexi Hall adding amazing depth and promise, this team has all the makings of a smash hit. Think about this. In addition to playing well in her first season, Clark broke rookie and WNBA records, won the 2024 Rookie of the Year award, and really came into her own after the Olympics. However, titles are not guaranteed by pure talent alone. This is where Stephanie White's skill as a master of player development is useful. Remember her time with the Connecticut Sun, where she won Coach of the Year and guided the team to back-to-back semifinals? Not to mention that in 2015, her first season as head coach led the Fever to the championship game. Can she really elevate this team to contender status? You may be asking yourself. White has a blueprint already. She is dedicated to maximizing the potential of the entire roster, not just Clark and Boston. White thinks that the team's happiness and unity are crucial since they are young, enjoy the game, and their playful style may be their secret weapon. The Fever are synchronizing wonderfully, as seen by White's appreciation of the team's late-season surge from the previous season. Now that White is in charge, the Fever's course is about to take a sharp turn. In addition to focusing on the dynamics of the club right now, she is also intending to use the 8th overall pick in the draft to add even more skill to the group. White is especially suited to guide this squad to victory because she was born and raised in Indiana and has a deep understanding of the local basketball environment. It's time to see what the Fever can truly do now that they have the proper coach, the right talent, and a clear vision. The other WNBA teams need to be aware that Indiana is playing to dominate, not just to participate. Experience is important, particularly when it comes to comprehending the elevated stakes during the playoffs. But White makes it apparent that execution, playing to their strengths, and stepping up when necessary are more important than knowledge alone. The hiring of Stephanie White by the Indiana Fever marks the beginning of a comprehensive basketball revolution rather than just a standard coaching change. White is here to establish a dynasty, not to compete. This team is more of a force of nature than a collection, with players like Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Hall, and others in the lineup. And this is only the start. White is making long-term plans and aiming for 10 years of domination rather than just seasonal glory. The Fever have their sights set on winning the championship, not simply making it to the playoffs. Indiana is preparing to not just compete, but to completely transform the WNBA while the league looks on. Keep checking back, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and turn on alerts. Don't miss a second of this adventure. Indiana's Fever is going to change the course of history.